Some people had asked me about CIATEC, and I wanted to give further information about this group and what's offered there. The area in Mexico that we're talking about is Leon. As you can see, it's between Mazatlan and Guadalajara, and it's inland. The Sierra Madre Mountains come and loop around the area, and that makes it over 5,900 feet above sea level. This makes the temperature more stable and cooler in the summer than at sea level. When it's 100 or more in Houston or at the coast, it's 82 in Leon. The county seat is in Guanajuato. As you see, it's just a little east of Leon. This is a more mountainous area than in Leon itself. The architecture in Guanajuato is more provincial, and it's much more modern in Leon. In this area, there's much of historical significance because the Mexican Revolution began there. There are a lot of festivities in this area, and there's much preparation for Independence Day in September. In Leon, you can see different colored banners hung on the lampposts and the medians, and I have a picture of one here. They're throughout as they celebrate Independence Day. If you look at the map, you'll see there's a town called San Miguel that's just at the bottom of the map. This is a tourist area where many Americans commute from there to their residence and to work in the United States. In Guanajuato, they have some interesting pizza delivery vehicles because the streets are narrow and are steep. Coming away from Guanajuato, you can see that the ditches are mowed in a different fashion than we're accustomed to seeing in North America. Moving on to CIATEC, it was called the Center for Innovation and Technology in Leather. Since then, its name has changed to the Center for Innovation in Competitive Technologies. I'll talk more about that change in focus later. I was the first Canadian to speak at this international conference, and before I went, I understood from others that Mexico was a poorer cousin and in need. When I was there, it was clear to me that this is not entirely the case. What is seen here is the first building that CIATEC occupied. Across the street is another building that CIATEC has occupied as well. This doubles the floor space that they have available for labs and offices. You can see that these are not small buildings. Here is the Polyforum Leon, where the international conference took place. It's a huge conference center, and it's easily able to accommodate the 1,200 people that were in attendance. On an unrelated note, I told them that the Pedorthic Association is having trouble finding venues large enough to hold its events. Their response was, "Come to Mexico." I was asked who a formal proposal should be given to because this Polyforum will hold 3,000 or more in each of its larger rooms. There are enough hotels in the area to comfortably hold many more than this. Costs are quite competitive, and it's the desire of the Mexicans to learn from us and to share what it is that they're doing. Near the Polyforum is a soccer stadium that's able to seat over 50,000 people. Soccer is a major pastime with people in Mexico. It's been pointed out to me that if we had more than 30,000 people in attendance at any PAC event, this would be the ideal venue for it. Further along the street towards the hotel is a place called the Shoe Mall. In that building are 63 different shoe stores. All the shoes are made within a 10-kilometer radius of where you stand outside the mall. Across the street, you can see the Leather Mall. In it are other things that are made from leather like coats and purses. All of these items are made locally. In addition, there are about 45 shoe stores in there. There are some duplicate stores between the two malls. What you don't see behind you is the Three Brothers shoe store. It's directly behind you as your picture is being taken. It's a huge one, and it also sells locally made shoes. This is across the street from the hotel. You can see a bus loading area in the median and a reserved bus lane. The bus comes about every 2 minutes, and it's usually full. This area of town is called the Leather Zone. If you turn left from the last shot, you can see the hotel. On my last visit, I had the room with the vaulted windows up at the top right. Across the street is a place that has everything. Sanborn's has a grocery store that sells everything you could possibly imagine, including telescopes and cameras. They have a restaurant that's got really, really good food at a good price. Now, if you look down the street from the Plaza de los Zapatos, the shoe mall, you'll find many smaller stores. Most of them sell shoes, and they're only open during the daytime. These pictures were taken at night when the places were shuttered. That's enough about this area. Let's focus on CIATEC, some of the services that they offer to the industry. The scope is expanded to the use of technology because the automotive industry has set up in their area. They're having automotive plants that are set up in between Leon and Guanajuato on the highway there. They have a number of other industries that need IT support and assistance in technology selection. These services are offered as well. You can see what services they offer, including research and development work and doing both R&D work and quality control. One of the major events that CIATEC puts on is Calzatechnia. This is a technical shoemaking convention. They have up to 1,200 people in attendance for this conference. The Director of Training and Development at CIATEC is Emma Acevedo Moreno. She is the lead organizer of the Calzatechnia conference. This is its 35th year. The General Director of CIATEC is Luis Torreblanca Rivera. I'm surprised at how many people this man knows and how he can relate to so many. He knows the staff that work there and what their expertise is. When I was discussing with him a problem that a supplier in the U.S. has had for 3 years and hadn't been able to resolve, I saw him look above my head, pointed at a couple people and beckoning them toward us. In a short time, I was surrounded by 8 people with PhDs in organic chemistry, polymer science, and material science. Within 30 seconds, they had a unanimous answer as to what the nature of the problem was and what the lab results would show would be the composition of the solder. You can see that there are 9 laboratory areas in this complex. Most of these are in the new building across the street from the original building. One of the key items that caused this expansion is the need to conform to REACH specifications. These are European standards, and they need to test their products to find the levels of trace heavy metals and organics of different kinds that can be introduced into the product through tanning, dyeing, and construction. There are limits imposed for these compounds with REACH. Checking the soil and air is an equally important part of the work that they do. Recently, there was legislation that was introduced that makes the plants responsible to know the level of the heavy metals and organic compounds of various sorts in their effluent and in the soil near their plant. In order to ensure that companies comply with these stringent standards, there's much sampling work that's needed to be done. The net result is a couple of very specifically equipped chromatography labs that are needed to fulfill this mandate. A shoe plant of any size is really unable to afford the $200,000 of equipment and the expertise to run it. CIATEC is one place that's able to monitor this for the industry. I've heard stories from people who know, quote unquote, what's going on in Mexico. They talk about chrome solution being poured on the ground when it's spent. The chrome solution is a method of tanning leather. This has not been the case for sure since 2005, and it's certainly not been the case with the legislation that was introduced in 2009 that led to the expansion of these environmental test facilities. CIATEC certifies finished products and the material that go into them, as well as the processes that made the product. The aim is to be a third party to ensure quality of products that are made in this area. If you go to the shoe mall, you'll see that the quality is high. I know this flies in the face of those who buy their shoes from Tijuana. The salesman on Avenue de la Revolucion in Tijuana will tell you that their product is top quality. I'm here to tell you that the products that they have is at best a second-rate product. Products of such low quality that are seen in Tijuana are not seen in Leon. CIATEC certifies the product by looking at not only the raw materials that go in to ensure that they have adequate quality, but they also look at how firm the glue holds the shoe together, how strong the leather is, and this thread, how the leather stacks up for softness, deformability, and abrasion resistance. If there's vinyl in seats and foam for cushioning, it's evaluated here as well for durometer, deformability, and behavior in different environments. In addition to certifying the product, they consult with you on any phase of product development and scaling your prototype into production. One of the areas that is of most interest to us is the biomechanics lab. Manuel Hernandez is the director of the biomechanics lab. It's hard to find a picture of him sitting still because he's moving, and any pictures that you have of him have a lot of motion in it. They say that biomechanics is a special area of engineering that has importance in the shoe, automotive, furniture, and machinery industries. They look at institutional biomechanics, the testing of work, and medical biomechanics. Here are some shots that I took from the biomechanics lab when I was there. The first pictures of the gait equipment and the baropedometry equipment. This is translated as measuring foot pressure, but it says us a lot more than that. The center of gravity is one of the things that's measured with this equipment, and its path is calculated in gait or activity. One of the ways that they quantify the stability of a shoe is to wear the shoe and to watch the translation of the center of gravity on the baropedometry equipment, both in a two-leg and single-leg stance position. The last of the pictures are equipment that is used to assess sole friction. One of the services that the biomechanics lab offers is medical biomechanics to patients. This is a brief tour around the province of Guanajuato and the CIATEC buildings.